Friends, gather round, for tonight we delve into the curious case of DOGE, not the meme, but a real government department. That's right, in 2025, President Trump, a man known for streamlined government, and by that we mean chaotic tweets, decided America needed a productivity boost. Thus, with a stroke of his pen, the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, was born. Now, you might think a department focused on efficiency would reside in, an actual government building. Not quite. DOGE set up shop within the White House's IT department, because where else would you put a department obsessed with streamlining other than among the ones and zeros? Adding to the confusion, DOGE wasn't exactly starting from scratch. Remember the US Digital Service, or USDS? Those brave souls trying to drag government websites into the 21st century? Well, they got a rebrand, becoming the United States DOGE service. It was like watching your local library get taken over by a Red Bull-fueled startup. And just to cement the air of temporary chaos, the whole thing was set to disband on July 4, 2026. Because what screams efficient government more than a department with an expiration date shorter than a gallon of milk? So, who did President Trump tap to lead this bureaucratic shakeup? Step right up, Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. Yes, the Tesla and biotech entrepreneur duo were tasked with whipping the government into shape. It was like putting the guys who make electric cars and experimental medicine in charge of fixing the DMV. What could possibly go wrong? Well, for starters, there were the whispers about communication. Apparently DOGE was rather fond of Signal, the encrypted messaging app. Now, privacy is important, but when you're talking about government transparency, using an app known for disappearing messages raises a few eyebrows. Then there was the matter of personnel. DOGE was hiring, and they weren't being shy about it. Dozens of new staffers, all reporting directly to the USDS. But there was a catch, and it wasn't a small one. It seemed the administration had a hiring preference. And let's just say, if you were a registered Democrat, your resume probably ended up in the digital shredder. And just when you thought things couldn't get any weirder, there was a plot twist. Ramaswamy, it seemed, had his sights set on bigger things. The Ohio governorship. That's right. The guy tasked with revolutionizing government efficiency decided he'd rather run a state. It was like finding out the head chef of your favorite restaurant was leaving to open a hot dog stand. Now you might be thinking, sure, DOGE sounds like a chaotic mess, but were they at least making the government more efficient? Well, that depends on who you ask. Musk and Ramaswamy, true to their word, came in swinging, proposing massive cuts to the federal workforce. It was like they were playing a real-life game of Papers, Please. Except instead of letting people into a fictional country, they were showing them the door to unemployment. And they weren't just stopping at personnel. DOGE set its sights on regulations, those pesky rules and laws that govern everything from food safety to environmental protection. Their mission? Identify and eliminate as many as possible. It was like they were trying to win a deregulation speedrun. Consequences be damned. But not everyone was thrilled with DOGE's slash and burn approach. In fact, you could say they were downright litigious. Lawsuits started piling up faster than unpaid parking tickets on a Times Square street sweeper. The American Federation of Government Employees, Public Citizen, and a whole host of other groups cried foul, alleging violations of the Federal Advisory Committee Act, FASA. Their main gripe? Transparency, or rather, the lack thereof. They argued that DOGE was operating in the shadows, making decisions behind closed doors without any input from the public or, the people whose jobs were on the line. It was like they were performing government surgery, but instead of scalpels, they were using rusty spoons and blindfolds. So, what's the verdict on DOGE? Was it a bold experiment in government efficiency, or a reckless exercise in cronyism and chaos? Well, as with most things in Washington, the answer is probably somewhere in between. On the one hand, there's no denying that the federal government could use a good dose of efficiency. Decades of bureaucratic bloat and outdated systems have made it slow, cumbersome, and frustratingly opaque. And to their credit, DOGE did try to tackle some of these issues, albeit with all the grace of a bull in a china shop. But on the other hand, the way DOGE went about its business raised serious concerns about transparency, accountability, and the rule of law. By operating in secrecy, excluding key stakeholders, and ignoring legal challenges, they created an environment of distrust and suspicion. It was like they were trying to build a house on a foundation of quicksand and hope for the best. As the clock ticks down to DOGE's planned demise on July 4, 2026, one can't help but wonder what legacy it will leave behind. Will it be remembered as a failed experiment, or a catalyst for much-needed reform? Or will it simply fade into the annals of history, another bizarre chapter in the ever-unfolding saga of American politics? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure. If you're looking for a case study in how not to run a government department, DOGE is a masterclass, and that, my friends, is the real punchline.